All right, now for the fun stuff, adding media to your posts. And by media, I'm talking about video, and I'm talking about images, of course, and audio files, and all kinds of good stuff. The stuff that really makes your blog sort of an interesting experience for your visitors. So in this section of our time here together, we're definitely going to be talking about a lot of the different ways that we can work with media and WordPress together, how we can add media to our posts, and so on and so forth. But before we really delve deeply into the subject of adding media to your blog, I think it's important that we first take a look at setting some of your media options inside your WordPress installation and really understanding exactly how those options work. So that's what you and I are going to do together right now. So to get started here, I'm looking at my dashboard, of course, and I'm going to head all the way down to the bottom left of my screen, and I'll expand open the Settings menu down towards that bottom left area there, and look for Media underneath your Settings menu. Okay. Now, the media screen, of course, opens up for you. And at the top of the media settings screen, it talks about image sizes and your default image sizes. So the sizes listed below determine the maximum dimensions in pixels to use when inserting images into your posts. So we have three settings here. We have thumbnail size, we have medium size, and we have, of course, large size as well. So the default width and height for your thumbnail images is 150 pixels by 150 pixels. So you can, of course, come into these fields and change them if you want. Maybe you only want your thumbnails to be 100 pixels in width by 100 pixels in height. You can, of course, set that to whatever you want. And we have this option here, crop the thumbnail to the exact dimensions. Normally, thumbnails are proportional, so that's entirely up to you, although this may cause some distortion inside your thumbnail images. Our medium size, the maximum width and maximum height. So maybe what I'll do is I'll come in here and maybe I'll change this to a maximum of 250 pixels for both the width and the height there. And then finally the large size, maximum width and maximum height. Maybe I don't want my images to be any larger than, let's say, 500 pixels square, something like that. Okay, wonderful stuff. Now you'll see how these image settings play out as we start dropping images, graphics, and so on into our posts. But I want to now sort of shift gears and talk about something called embeds. And we have something here called auto embeds. And we have this guy turned on by default. Attempt to automatically embed all plain text URLs. What the heck does that mean? Well, what we can do is we can create a post and then simply type in a URL directly to a piece of media, perhaps a video on YouTube. Now, normally this is only used with video, by the way. And what WordPress will do is it will automatically embed that URL if it detects it, right? Which is extremely cool. So that saves us from having to deal with any lengthy embed codes and things like this. I don't know if you've ever had to mess around with that stuff before, but it's kind of a pain in the neck. Now, due to security, this auto embed option will only work with certain video services. I'm not going to rhyme them all off for you here, but here's a sort of a short list for you. It'll work with YouTube videos, anything that's hosted on Vimeo or Dailymotion, Flickr, Vidler is just fine, Google Video, PhotoBucket, and there's a few others as well. So anyway, so you can certainly check this out if you want. And then below that we have the maximum embed size. The width is blank, but the maximum height for our embedded videos is 600 pixels. And you see here, if the width value is left blank, embeds will default to the maximum width of your theme, that theme that's controlling your blog look, right? I thought it would be important to kind of give you a little bit more information on this idea of embeds, because it's definitely cool stuff. So what I've done here is I've opened up another browser tab inside Firefox, and you may want to go and check out this URL on your own, and you might want to read up on it. http://codex.wordpress.org/embeds. So in other words, the WordPress codex is going to tell us exactly how this auto embed option works. And if we scroll down here a little bit, it says all we need to do to embed something in a post or a page is to post the URL into that content area, that body area of our post. And then they give us an example. Check out this cool video. There's that URL, that plain text URL I was telling you about. That's all there is to it, and WordPress will do the rest. It's extremely cool stuff. Alright, so now that we've gone and set up some of the media settings, we have to make sure that we click on Save Changes down at the bottom. Everybody seems to forget to click on Save Changes, so just be sure to save your changes. Now that everything's been saved up, we're ready to actually start working with media inside our posts.